So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We'll probably have some other people pop in as we go, so we might move around, but feel free to adjust. We're here tonight for the College and Career Ready Night, and we're going to talk about our business pathway in District 214. My name is Seth Heddle. I'm the division head at Prospect High School for Career and Technical Education, and I'm going to be the moderator tonight. Can our panelists go ahead and introduce themselves? I do not believe Rob is with us, so can we go ahead and move on to Jacqueline?
Yeah, hi, my name is Jacqueline Contreras. I am a dual credit partner with District 214 from National Louis University. Did you want us to say something about ourselves as well?
Yeah, a little bit about yourself, kind of your background, and
Yeah.
yes, anything that you think will be helpful for tonight's discussion.
So I actually graduated from Rolling Meadows High School in 2018. So I am in the district and I'm happy to be still continuing to work with the district. I've been with National Louis for about 4 years now, and I graduated in December of 2021 with my bachelor's in psychology degree. So I am here for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Phyllis Higgins, and I'm an apprenticeship talent navigator with Zurich North America. And I got my undergrad at National Louis University in business management. And I now, like I say, I'm apprenticeship talent manager. So I look for different partners to work with us and look for talent to try to come and work at Zurich North America and get your associate's degree while you're doing it.
Awesome. My name is Derek Spallone. I'm a graduate of Wheeling High School, class of 2013. After school, I went into the trade school route, actually, attended the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, now the Illinois Media School. So my journey went in the sports media world and now merged into the social media and sports world, where I currently work with Wilson Sporting Goods on our football and volleyball social accounts and campaigns, worked closely with our basketball accounts too, and then also stay active on the sports media front through my own entity, Spallone Sports, and excited to be here and answer any questions and looking forward to the conversation.
Hi, I'm Molly Talkington. I'm the finance director for the city of Rolling Meadows. I have a long career in local government. I started with a history degree as my undergrad and went on to a master's of public administration, which puts me into this kind of government finance world.
All right, and then Mr. Watson, I saw you joined us. We're just doing a quick little intro and little 30-second information about yourself. So
Sure, absolutely. Rob Watson, assistant professor and program coordinator at National Louis University. I've been with National Louis going on 12 years. Before that, Kendall College. I have a background in entrepreneurship, come from a family-owned enterprise with lots of work in automotive, entertainment, but primarily specializing in helping our students become entrepreneurs or trying to talk them out of it. So thanks so much. Very excited to be here.
thank you for joining us. Andrea, I believe you're still muted.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Andrea Eisenstark. I'm currently a teacher at Prospect High School, so teaching accounting and introduction to business over there. I've been in the district since 2003, so I was at Elk Grove for many years, and this is my 6th year at Prospect. I'm actually a 214 grad as well, so I went to Elk Grove, and then my bachelor's degree is in business marketing from Augustana College. And then I went back for my master's degree at Roosevelt.
My name is Dan Vesper. I teach introduction to business and college entrepreneurship at Hersey High School. And I'm on year 15 or something like that at Hersey, and about 17 or so years overall teaching and coaching and stuff like that. So it's fun. Thanks for having me.
My name is Chris Thompson, and I'm the new student success coach at Prospect. This is my 1st year at Prospect. Before I came to Prospect, I was a 6th grade math teacher at South Middle School in the area. I really enjoy working with kids, so I'm very excited to continue working with kids and helping them in my new role.
My name is Caden Kayada. I'm a student at Buffalo Grove High School. I'm our student body president and I am our student section president. This past summer, I was a student intern at Prospect High School in the athletics department. I play baseball at Buffalo Grove, and that's about it. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. And thanks for everyone for their time tonight. So let's kind of get started on a quick overview of kind of what our pathways are. And I believe Mr. Vesper is going to help us out with that.
Yeah, so our business career pathway, I know it's listed as you can be a business management and administration pathway, finance or marketing. But really the title slide where it said business pathway is probably the best way to look at it. If any of the students are interested at all in business, if they like Shark Tank, if they want to start their own business, if they're already running their own business, if they just like the idea of business, what we would love for the kids to do is come into their freshman year and hopefully take Introduction to Business. The class itself is very cheesily an introduction to business. It covers everything from management to marketing, a little bit of accounting, a little bit of finance, a little bit of sales, a little bit of promotion. We try to let the kids understand the basics of each of the things that you probably could major in later on in college, from, like I said, marketing to accounting. And hopefully the kids will find one or a couple of things within the introduction business class that they're interested in, that we can hook them into taking some more classes throughout the rest of their high school careers. And then their sophomore year, if they did have a good time with Introduction to Business, they can take College Entrepreneurship, which is a year-long class, which is where they get dual credit through National Louis University. If kids are interested in marketing, they can take Sports and Entertainment Marketing. It's a class that's basically a marketing class, but we call it Sports and Entertainment Marketing. It's one of the first lessons we teach them in that class is if we just called it marketing, we probably wouldn't get as many kids to sign up for it. So we call it Sports and Entertainment Marketing, and kids sign up for it, almost not even realizing that it's a marketing class, but hopefully we hook them in that too. I've heard talk that there might be a social media and marketing curriculum coming around the corner, but whatever it might be, if the kids took a semester-long marketing class their sophomore year, then hopefully if they had a good time with College Entrepreneurship, which, like I said, is a dual credit course with National Louis. It's a college curriculum. It's a difficult class where community members from each and every single one of the cities that we're in come in and help mentor and coach the students throughout the entire year, where they come up with an actual product or service idea. They create everything you would need to know about starting up a business, and then they end up doing a Shark Tank style investment pitch at the end of the year. It's really, really impressive what the kids do every year. And then if they want to move on from there, they can take College Business, which is another year-long class, ideally around like their junior year. And if the kids want to continue on and take the full gamut of business classes, if they wanted to go into the finance world, they could take College Accounting, they could take micro and macro economics, and I believe either there's an AP economics course or a dual credit. I think the dual credit micro and macro are through National Louis University. If the kids are interested in the marketing aspect of it, they again would take College Business, which they'll learn even more about marketing and management. But for the most part, if the kids are interested in anything business related, we hope that they take at least one or two classes their freshman or sophomore year. And hopefully they enjoy it. Hopefully they have a good time learning the world that we teach them. And then ideally we can have them for all 4 years. So when they go off to either National Louis or any of the other amazing colleges and universities that 214 kids go to, they might actually have some college credit through National Louis, but they have a really solid array of business knowledge going into their freshman year of college.
So anything else you want to add to that, Andrea? Or
No, I
did
think you
Dan do a
covered
good
it.
job?
Yeah, I think Dan did a nice, thorough job. Thanks,
Good.
Dan.
Perfect. All right, so we're going to head to Derek specifically, but any former grad, which I know we have a lot on here. Just kind of talking about your experience with the classes and how that really has helped you so far in your career.
Yeah, for sure. It's actually really neat right now just to see the different opportunities that I think are offered to students and how that's evolved over the years. I think right now, even hearing, about the potential of like social media marketing, and now I know that's like a major at universities, which is really neat. So, when I look back on some of the curriculum that I think, helped and kind of shaped, was I did take the entrepreneurship class as well, but also being involved in like the journalism and the school newspaper. For Wheeling, it was called The Spokesman. So being involved in like that class and really just learning the ins and outs of journalism, ethics, all those really important intangibles that I think overall help shape into the media landscape. And then also the going into the path of like digital media and having those classes too, where you were able to like do the morning announcements, and then you're also able to learn different programs like Final Cut Pro, how to cut video, making like commercials and certain things for the announcements. Like all of that really, I think, helped become, well-rounded for what your passions might be. And being around, I think sports specifically was always something that was super intriguing. So being involved with sports early on, having that passion for it and saying, hey, here's a way, hey, if you're not always just playing, there's a way to still be involved with sports. There's so many different opportunities and pathways that I think sometimes it's hard to see that when you're just so focused on just playing. And by all means, take those dreams all the way. But there's also ways where it's, if it's not always just on the field, there's still ways to be involved with it. And, whether that's through social media, broadcast, marketing, all these other avenues that really make up organizations. So to really be in there through thick and thin, I think going back to some of those learnings I had through school, and then, being a part of organizations like the Buccaneers and the Packers and working in their social teams, you really see what really goes together to bring a product to, on a Sunday, for this, where all eyes and are focused on what's going on the football field, but what's really going on behind the scenes to help, culminate and shape that.
Perfect. Anyone else want to add anything to that, or we can keep moving on? Or all right, let's go to Mr. Watson here. So Derek mentioned opportunities. National Louis, and anyone from National Louis, feel free to speak in. But what are some of the opportunities that are available for students that are interested in like the business pathway at National Louis?
Well, I think it's kind of an extension of what Dan mentioned earlier, where it's a very applied approach. I'll give you an anecdotal story. We had in our ENT 295 class, 3 graduating seniors who were extremely proud of their backgrounds and were trying to figure out if it was okay for them to put their national flags on their actual graduation gear. And they were able to do that in the textiles, sewing and everything like that. And when they started wearing their gear, sweatpants around the school, other students started asking them, hey, is it possible for me to get a pair of sweatpants like that, for me to get that on my graduation gear? And very quickly, NLU rallied behind these girls and have helped them connect to resources. And now they're in the market research phase where they're getting out there talking to customers. So that's really a long story to give an example of how we try to connect students to the appropriate resources so they can kind of pursue their goals. But it's not only entrepreneurship, right? We have students who, because of the vastness of National Louis, I would say, if you want to get expertise in communications, we have a communication school. We have students right now, a lot of students who are dabbling in computer science. They're really seeing that as a way to kind of strengthen their offering, and also from a job security standpoint, there's a lot more tech jobs where things are going in terms of the workforce, reskilling. So really it's connecting you to the appropriate resources to help you, figure out whatever your goals may be. Some students come in, like Dan mentioned, where they're already running a business. Some students come in with a business idea. Some students come in saying, I got no idea at all what I want to do, and that's okay as well. So our job is to help you figure that out. So I hope that makes sense.
Oh, that's perfect. All right. Miss Thompson from Prospect. So Miss Thompson's brand new to our district. So we're going to kind of test her here on this one. What is some of the work-based experiences that are available to our students that are currently in our high schools available outside of the normal classroom?
Okay, good. So basically what I do as a student success coach is I can work with students on career exploration. So if they want to find out a little bit more into what pathway they want to get into, I can do some activities with them. I also help them find internships and then also apprenticeships. So those are the three things that I basically work on as a student success coach.
Awesome. So we're gonna move on to, we're gonna move on to Caden here. So Caden has had some different experiences. He's got to see a few of our high schools. So how have some of those experiences affirmed what you want to do outside or after 214?
I would definitely say learning in these CTE business classes and then going out into the workforce kind of as an intern. It's definitely I've been able to see how to solve problems in different ways, and just seeing what I've learned and then putting it into action, and whether I like it or not, which I have. I think that's kind of reassuring to me that this is what I like to do, and the education I'm getting in this program is helping me towards that.
Awesome. Jacqueline, can you add on to that at all? Kind of, you were at 214 and then you went straight to National Louis. So you kind of had, a very, I'm going to say not much of a gap in between, but again, you were here not that long ago.
Yeah, well, it is long. Yes, I feel like it's been a long time, but no, yeah, I graduated from Meadows in 2018, and I was kind of in like, I don't know what I want to do with my life boat. And I am a first generation student, so just the concept of college and just attending and affording and the access, and I'm a minority, it was all super scary. And one of my counselors at Rolling Meadows High School, Gabriela Medina, connected me with one of the coaches at NLU. And more than anything at NLU, if I can say anything aside from the awesome programs and the awesome professors, is NLU really does bring a lot of support, not just for first generation students, but just for all students. And especially after COVID, I think that we needed that support, and just transitioning into, I guess, like college life wasn't something that was very easy at all. So NLU really took care of me personally in that sense. And then just the opportunities that NLU brings, it gives students the opportunity to do a 10-week internship. And that really just set me up for success personally, because since I was in like a very unsure setting of what I wanted to do after or even in college, the internship really kind of gave me a path and a vision. And I think the accessibility of the education and the amount of opportunities that we provide our students just kind of, it retained me. I stayed, and I'm glad I stayed, because a lot of opportunities opened even from NLU. Like, I've been working with them now for 4 years, and I had I have a colleague now that graduated from the computer info systems major, and he's actually working with the Salesforce team, which is a system that we use, as like an administrator. So NLU does want to ensure that students are career ready after they finish their degree, and most of the students that do graduate will get a job like right after. So yeah.
Awesome. Anyone else from National Louis want to expand?
We had a quick question about internship opportunities in the business field. Maybe Christine can talk a little bit more about that.
Generally, what we do for internships is we have students come in and I kind of interview them, or we kind of talk about what their interests are. So we find out what area in business they're interested in, and then we find out what their interests are. And the more information we can get from them, then we go to our placement specialist. And our placement specialist has worked with partners in the past, and we're always looking for new partnerships as well too. So then we try and match the partner up with our intern. So it's basically, it varies for every student depending on what they're looking at and what they're looking for in an internship.
Great. So you mentioned internships here at 214, and I'm not sure which National Lewis representative this would be best for, but what are some of those internship opportunities and companies you guys work with that are, in our post-secondary options?
I can answer that. It is a requirement in the business program that you have an internship. And I actually teach the course CAR 490, which is kind of our career readiness course, where really we focus on students learning how to search for a job. In terms of actually the internship you'll be taking, which you actually have to do in conjunction with the course, the two kind of are codependent. It's meant to be reflective about what usually is for students at that time, their first real work experience. But in terms of how you get the internships, we have an entire career bridge department. You'll get a coach, you'll get an advisor, you get a person to help you figure out, very much like Christine said, where it's what are you trying to do, right? We have a lot of relationships with local banks. We have a lot of relationships with small businesses. Some of those small businesses are the best opportunities because students can work in areas that might be a little more unique. We have a student that's running social media for several small businesses. We have students who are working, running the business operations for several of the restaurants, which kind of connect to the Kendall College side. But the really important thing to know is that if you're coming through the business program, an internship is something you're going to have to do. Most students really enjoy it. Most students really want that to be a paid opportunity. I wish I could tell you that they were all paid, but the truth is they're not all paid. If that is something that's a requirement, we do take that under consideration, right? If someone's saying that, look, I need the resources because I need to be working and earning money. But it's a very, very significant and substantial part of the curriculum at National Lewis. You'll start working on internships and career readiness as soon as your sophomore year.
Awesome. All right, so we're going to go back to our D214 teachers. I'm going to start with Andrea, but Dan, you're always welcome to pop in on it as well. We talked a little about some of the dual credit classes. Can you guys expand on those? Just, so anyone on here that's looking, incoming student, what those really mean and what are some of the other items we can do? And if you need me to switch slides, please let me know.
I think we're okay. So I'll start out, Dan, you can add in anything if we need to. So looking at the top of Seth's slides here in red, it says college entrepreneurship, college business, and then college accounting, college macro, micro. So I'm going to speak on behalf of the Entra, the college biz, and the accounting, and you can see in there the suggested years for students taking those. Those are all full year-long courses. And the content, I think Dan talked a little bit about those. So with those three classes, earning an A, B, or C on your 214 transcript. So whether you're at Buffalo Grove or Rolling Meadows or whichever school you're at, if you earn a passing grade of A, B, or C, that transfers over to National Lewis University. And then so that is college credit there. So the Entra, the college biz, and the Entra and the college biz are both 3 credit hours. And then college accounting, many of us are offering the financial accounting semester 1 and managerial accounting semester 2. So with that course, students are actually getting 6 college credit hours that they can transfer. So I think we really appreciate that in the business world, the business teaching area. So rather than having to get a specific score in an AP test or anything, if you get an A, B, or C, it just transfers over as that credit. In most of the colleges, and 214 is really working on like connecting those transfers, I guess, and more colleges nearby are accepting them exactly for what the titles are. Some may take them as electives, but a lot of them are taking them directly as the entrepreneurship or the accounting credit. So you can get up to from 3 to 6 college credit hours from each of those courses. And then we can also see the college macro and micro. I'm guessing those are 3 as well. I haven't taught those 2 classes.
Yeah, and the only thing I would add on to that is that as parents and students are looking at a document like this, it kind of looks like you have to do intro to business, then entrepreneurship, then college business, then college accounting. What I would say is that we as teachers have said this would be like the ideal order that they could go in, where they learn a little bit about business, then they learn how to start a business. In college entrepreneurship, college business is where they kind of learn how to operate the business, and then college accounting would be kind of how are they making money, that cash flow in and out of the business. So kids can do it in that order. They can do college business sophomore year, college entrepreneurship junior year. It doesn't really matter. if they switch it up a little bit, those courses in that order, I think just makes the most sense. But yeah, that would be like if this was an actual major for a college or university, they'd probably have them in that course order.
Yeah, and that's a great point, Dan, that it doesn't have to be sequential. You can come in at any point, you can leave at any point. That's true with all our pathways. So if you're in the next session as well, kind of keep that in mind. This is the ideal progression, but at the same time, if you do it different, it's not wrong.
And there's kids that love college entrepreneurship and they love college business, and then they see the word accounting and they get freaked out by that. And we always tell them that if they go into accounting, obviously that would be wonderful for them to take. But if they go into college and they want to major in business, they're going to take an accounting class or two. So even if their accounting isn't their thing, they really should do it anyway in the District 214 school. So they hopefully get the college credit, but then if they go to some other university and the credit doesn't transfer, every kid we've ever talked to goes off to college and says, "Oh my God, I'm so happy I took accounting at Hersey or at Prospect," because they're like the kids in college that all of the other kids go to for help because they took it in a District 214 school.
Yeah, accounting makes the hair on my arm raise a little bit, so it's a little scary to me, but luckily we have some great teachers. So all right, so we're going to move on to some of our business partners here. Just looking for, what are you looking for? So I'm going to start with Molly, and I'm going to move to Michael. What are some of the things you are looking for when hiring people for either internships or even just, for a career?
Well, first I'd say we are one of the places where your high school interns have been placed. I had 2 this summer, and they each had a project to take on, and I plan on continuing that relationship. So it might not be exactly what you think, but we're still finance and we still have some different avenues. So government finance is a little different than business finance. So what we tend to look for is, have you done fund accounting, that really government specific accounting, which you start to pick up more in college, but having your basic accounting course first is a must before you start going into that kind of fund accounting world. But I also think in every government I've worked at, if you get in the door, right, you might be an accounts payable clerk, you might be the intern that becomes the accounts payable clerk. Your experience that you build helps you move up within that organization. So we look for people that not only have the education, but experience, or do they have enough experience that they didn't need a master's degree, right? Can we offset that with the experience? So we look at what the skills they bring to the table when they're coming to the government. And I am not an accounting major, right? My background's in history. History, is a good foundation for government. I've taken my accounting courses. I tell everyone accountants look backwards to the penny. I look forward to the thousand because I love the world of budgeting. And the world of budgeting is pretty unique to government. So you can like math and finance and not only do accounting. So there's kind of a different world, and those 2 different viewpoints are really good. I need someone who wants to look back to the pennies, but I also need someone that wants to project forward and see where we're going. So we look kind of for different, how those different parts fit. But I think in the world of government, you get your feet in the door, you can do finance in the public works department, and you'll learn a whole lot about snow plowing operations, or do it in fire, and you can learn how to buy a fire truck, right? So we have kind of unique things that you get to come and be a part of. So if you're interested in kind of those different areas, our high school internships are not just in finance. IT was looking for someone. Public Works always has internships, and they have college level, which pay. So there's the added incentive to look to your local governments as well for internships. And we're not the only ones that do that, but having the internship kind of gets you familiar with the operations, get your foot in the door, and helps you if you do want to then apply for a job in our world.
All right, same thing to you, Michael.
Yeah, I didn't. You want me to do an introduction? I think I got missed earlier on.
Oh, yes, please do.
Michael Larson, Vice President, General Manager of the Schaumburg Boomers baseball team. I've been in professional baseball for 18 years. Undergrads are from Concordia College in Minnesota. in philosophy and political science with another undergrad from University of Minnesota in business and communications. With a master's degree from Georgia Southern University in sports management. I'm also a adjunct professor for the University of Minnesota. And also I am vice chair of Meet Chicago Northwest, which is a tourism and hospitality bureau for the region, as well as I'm on the board of directors for the Schaumburg Business Association. And I have 3 kids that are running around, so apologies for the noise there.
A lot of free time, it sounds like.
Yeah, and like Molly was talking about, there's a lot of different kinds of accounting when you go between, the business world and the government world. I run a facility that is owned by a municipality. So whilst we're in the middle of capital improvement projects and stuff like that at the moment, I get to get my sneak peek on how government finance works and that kind of thing. And I honestly don't like it. So good job, Molly. I'm more of a snap my fingers and want to do things, and that's not how government works. So this year was the first year that we had interns. I think I had 3 come from Hersey High School over the course of the summer. I can honestly tell you there wasn't a whole lot of forethought through it. I believe somebody reached out and I said, sure. We have historically always had a very large and robust internship program for college interns. So it was very new to bring in high school interns simply because the timetable is significantly shorter. So we're still kind of developing as we went along on what kind of experiences they're going to get and how much they're going to kind of get to see the operations. But I've blanked on his name, but gentleman from Wilson Sports, you're talking about getting an opportunity to see how everything comes together. And that's kind of the main focus we put into the high school internships is getting to see that while they may just show up for a weekend of games, it is so much more that needs to be put together to come into all of that. And that you're going to need some background in a lot of different areas, especially on the business side of things. I always tell students as a college professor that even in sports management, the accounting classes you take, the finance classes you take, those are going to be the most important things that you learn in your academic standpoint, because even if you think your job has nothing to do with it, it does. At the end of the day, you need to make sure the numbers align and make sure that whatever visions and dreams you have for the company can be can make sense on the P&L and make sense in your budgeting and your finance. So there's a little bit of a rambling, but there's, I think, an answer to what you're looking for.
It was perfect to me. All right, so we're gonna go to Phyllis here from National Louis. What's some advice you wish you had known when you were, in a lot of these students' situations back in high school? What's something you wish you could tell yourself, looking back at it from now?
Well, I graduated a while ago and I went back to National Louis, went to college as an adult student. So I didn't take the traditional route. I had a job. I was fortunate. I had a job at a bank when I was in high school, and they offered me a job after I graduated. So I was like, oh, this is great. Let me go to work. I don't need to go to college. Well, there's only so far you can go most of the time, unless you're a well-paid electrician or some of those specialty trades. And so I got to a point in my career where I just couldn't move up, but I could do the job because I didn't have the piece of paper. So I went back to school and got my undergrad at National Louis University. And so I would say my advice I would give is if it's not for you right away, Zurich, who I happen to work for right now, just started in September, we have an apprenticeship program. And if it's not affordable, we can pay for you to go to Harper Community College. We also will pay you to work for us at the same time. So you're getting work experience and school experience. But I would say if you think college is not for you, try a community college. And that way you can get a chance to see where it can take you and what it can do for you. And maybe you go off to college and you get homesick and want to come back. There are still options for you. So don't think that there's no future for you. Don't think that you have to take what everybody else is doing, a traditional route. That route may not work for you.
Awesome.
Seth,
All right.
as
So-
a matter, oh.
Go
do you mind
ahead,
if I mention something?
please.
Okay, as a matter of fact, on November 14th, we're having the Zurich, we're having a national, or we're having a Zoom in the College and Career Center, and it's for the Zurich apprenticeship. So if anybody's interested in that, if you go to Prospect, they can come see me in the College and Career Center, and we're doing a Zoom from 10 to 11 so they can find out about this apprenticeship. So
Yes, it's a great apprenticeship, pays for you to go to school and pays for you to work. You get PTO, vacation time. You get 401k, 18, that's a good deal, I think.
exactly. I've had one student that said he's coming for sure, so we know he's got one
Excellent.
coming. So it's awesome.
Excellent.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, so this is going to be more for our, I'm going to say our recent grads, but it could also be our current students. Okay, what is something memorable about the business pathway that favorite lesson, experience, something of that nature? And Derek got a little warning on this, so we're going to go straight to Derek. But anyone else is welcome to chime in.
Yeah, for sure. Just first, I just want to say I honestly really resonated with what Phyllis mentioned. I think especially at the end about just everybody's journey is different. I think that's one thing not to get super passionate on, but I think that is just something super important. Hopefully that's, a big takeaway for any students and family members on here, of course, is that, I know often in times it's like, hey, your friends are going off and doing different things, or your different endeavors, or their different like passions and interests, but everybody's journey and story truly is different. So when you try different things along the way, something kind of sparks your interest, and ultimately that kind of helps discover your passion. You never know when that might be. And I think that kind of goes into your question too, Seth. So for me, I think one of the more memorable experiences, but also I would say like pieces of advice, was truly trying those new things. So for me, as I kind of mentioned, like sport, it was all sports for me. So basketball, I had aspirations of, playing at the highest level, playing, in college and all of that. And then when I got cut my junior year, I didn't have the Michael Jordan comeback story, but instead it was, okay, how can I stay involved with sports without maybe playing at that highest level? And that's ultimately led me, I had a couple people plant seeds in my brain, through school. So teachers and also peers. And they said, hey, you like to talk and you like sports, so maybe you should explore that path a little bit more. And that kind of opened my mind to that world. So, starting with the sports blogging and then turning into, video interviews and being around, the broadcast of high school games and really getting your reps and your experiences and kind of growing that love for it. And then I remember I literally attended a session very similar to this, that the school I attended, the Illinois Center for Broadcasting, had a booth and a speaker, and they talked about this trade program, and you could jump right in. So not to take away from National Louis, because I know people that have gone there and great experiences, and it sounds like great individuals too on the call, but just hearing that other opportunity, because all I ever knew was, hey, there's this, it's like 4 years, or there's not, like, what else is there, right? But then you hear about, okay, there's a way to go this trade school route, and I could really go into what I'm passionate about and enjoy, and like learn and grow into that. And that's where you really learn, that's where I learned the ins and outs. But, so I think what I was able to take away from the pathway, and at the time, a little different of a name, but just through those courses, was to know that there are other opportunities out there. So when you kind of make yourself versatile, I knew a little bit of social media just from my own personal social media, but then started to get a little active. And now my world's in social media and sports, right? Where you could work for an organization, you could work for teams, you could be on a brand side, but also on the sports media, where it was, okay, hey, like there's still ways to be around some of your, favorite athletes, or to conduct interviews and be in a professional sports space, even if you're not on the court. So those were, I think, takeaways that I had through the program of learning that, let me try new things, and it's okay to fail. It's okay to dip your hand in different paths and opportunities. And it might look strange to somebody's like, what's this guy doing? Because they're not used to maybe seeing a lot of that, when people are focused on different things and your passions and interests are a little bit different. But being through the program showed me, hey, there's ways to, again, this is back 2012, so stroll down memory lane, 2012, 2013, but I just going through those things early helped you as you got older to prepare for some of those real world experiences and knowing that you're going to learn so much in school, and then it's what you're able to apply in the real world through our internships, like Kristen mentioned, and just the different opportunities that are going to be presented for you, post education. And once it's awesome. That's an opportunity right now in high school, but of course, once you're at the collegiate level too. So it's a special pathway to see how it's all transformed over the years for sure.
Awesome. Caden also wanted to comment on this.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm a current student. This is my third year in the business pathway. And the beauty of it is there are so many different opportunities. And this is not college. You're not paying for these classes. You can try something and see whether you like it or not. And I think it's really great. I was in college entrepreneurship last year, and Mr. Vesper was talking about how you get a pitch at the end of the year, to kind of like a Shark Tank. You do it throughout the year, but then one group from each school gets to pitch to investors at a district competition. My group did that, so that probably would be one of my favorite memories in the business pathway so far. I think there are so many different opportunities you can try, and you can just have fun in these classes. These classes, while they're hard and rigorous, they're really fun. If this is something that you like to do and this is something that's of interest to you, it's very fun. It doesn't feel like it's a class. It feels like it's fun. It doesn't feel like that. So it's a lot of great things in the business pathway.
Awesome. Thanks, Caden. All right. So it's hard to believe 42 out of the 45 minutes is already gone. So we're going to just open it up. Anyone that wants to talk here or any questions, please send those now. Last question. So we're just going to see who wants to talk. What's the best advice you can give? I'm going to say a current or incoming student on the business pathway and or even just kind of like high school.
If no one's talking, I guess I'll jump in. The advice
Thanks, Dan.
Sorry. The advice I would give kids when it comes to elective classes, they are the only classes that you get to choose. Everything else, the English, the math, the science, the social studies, those things you have to take just to be able to graduate high school. So when you get the opportunity to fill one or two slots your freshman through senior year, and by the time you get to your senior year, you have a little bit more leeway in your schedule. Please, please, please take some classes that you're interested in. If it's not in the business pathway, then take an art class, take an autos class, take a photography class, take something like Caden said that you think you might be interested in, and then you might find out that you really, really are, or you might find out that you really, really aren't. Either way, you're learning something about yourself. I see too many kids sign up for classes because they feel like they're supposed to take those classes. And then we ask them, well, what are you majoring in? And it has nothing to do with the classes they took in high school. So many times kids go across the stage at graduation and they're going off to college to major in business and they've never taken a business class. Please choose classes that you're actually interested in. That's maybe not a good sales pitch for business classes, but if it's not business, take something else that you're actually interested in.
I would agree with Dan and find your passion. I mean, I'm someone who ended up in college having 200 and something credits because I just kept taking classes I liked. So I ended up with a philosophy degree, and I can tell people why they want fries with that, but
it's important.
A philosophy joke. And it's finding your passion, because you might find that your passion is something completely unplanned. And if you go and take that photography class, you go and take that history class, you go and take whatever it is, you might find a completely different route than you initially planned. And you have time to divert that route. I think it was Derek who said earlier too that, he had taken some time off and come back. And that's the same story I had. I went to college when I was in high school. My senior year of high school was also my freshman year in college. And after that, I took 4 years off. And it was when all of my friends were graduating that I found my passion in sports. And that's when I went back to school. I think that makes me the third person to have a similar story to that here, which maybe is contrary to what we're trying to present. But you might not figure out, for a few years what it is you actually want to do. And the more you explore and the more you get to learn about yourself and learn about the world, the better you're going to be in a position to take advantage of it when you do find that passion. And maybe you're going to find your passion, or already did many years ago, and you're just going to start going down that path. That's it.
All right. Well, it's 6:46, so if you have any questions, you're welcome to chat those real quick. But we do appreciate National Louis for your representation, our business partners, our teachers that are, working outside of their contract hours, but also have a parent-teacher conferences this week. So we know it's not an easy week. And our students, we know you guys have a lot going on, and we really appreciate it. Feel free to let us know if you have any questions as time goes on. And thank you very much for your time. And it doesn't look like we've received many